We have 4.5 out of 8, I think, because we won the last 2 games. Nice. Oh, Von Popiel. A Ukrainian, I am Alexander. Oh, that's a good move, if not for the Sneider Attack. You thought you could out-Gambit the Gambit man. I'll just go down 2 pawns. Wait, let me adjust this. Okay, Queen D6. What's the move again? Probably takes check and 82. This is fine. I think knight f6 is a good move. I think that's my concern. Alright, we're going to take it. Queen g6, I have this. So, okay, we're now down 1 pawn. I think the option they chose is very solid. That was a crazy opening, and I'm looking forward to explaining it later. About, I gambited, then he tried to counter gambit, but then I counter gambited. All in the first 3 or 4 moves of the game. Okay, check, knight d2. No, that couldn't be a good move. No way. No way. Wait, you're just trying to hold on to this dude? Okay, what is happening here? Knight f6? No. They should be completely toasted here. Probably just long castle. If I go here right now, then we're just kind of transposing to something similar. Okay. I also have bishop c4. No, okay. Let's start with long castle. That has to be correct. A lot of options there, but that has to be fine. This is a tasty position. This is a tasty position. It is yummy. I would eat this position up. Oh, you don't have queen takes f6, bishop g5, and rook d8. So that was forced. Okay. I can go here. Or f4. I've got a lot of ideas. I have the idea of take, and rook d8. Did they just blunder? Do I just win? I think I do. They have bishop g4. No, but I win. Take and queen d7. GG. Gambit Chads rise up, baby. Down goes the IM. Tried to hang on to your pawn here, not developing your pieces, keeping your king in the middle. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Do you have check? No, it does nothing. Well, that might not be true. Wait, okay. Because bishop g4, queen takes g4, then check. No, I have here. So you gotta do it in this order. Here, king b1, bishop g4. The point being, takes, queen takes c5. No, queen d7, king f8, queen f7. That's still mate. Got nothing. You got nothing. I don't have to take this. Even though it's probably still winning. I can go here. I can go here. We were calculating the same line, you and I. We were calculating the same line. This is still mate. Bishop g4, queen takes g4. We were looking at the same thing. We were looking at the same thing. That is still mate. GG. Okay, thanks for letting me put it on the board. That is actually really sweet. That is very nice. Still, hey! He didn't let me put it on the board. So knight f6 makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense because, like, you're looking at this, and, you know, my next moves here are, like, going to be, yeah, bishop c4, knight g5, hitting f7, or here, bishop c5. Bishop c5 is already, like, on the verge of trapping the queen. Damn, wouldn't it be a shame if you ever allowed me to play bishop c5 in this game? Wouldn't it be a shame if that ever happened to you? Can't imagine. Couldn't be you, right? Couldn't be you to get pranked by bishop c5. So let's play knight f6, just to make sure we get rid of that knight on e4, just to make sure my opponent never, ever, ever puts that bishop on c5. Never, ever, ever will it happen to me. Never, ever, ever. So, yes, I had to make some concessions going pawn takes f6, but at least there's no bishop c5. At least that could never happen. How does it not give me an exclam? That's crazy. What? You're not going to give me an exclam for that? Not even one? You give me an exclam for the most obvious bishop c4 move, just developing my piece, hitting f7, but no exclam for bishop c5? That's so rude. Okay. But bishop c5 here. Yeah, I mean, this is already losing. This is already losing. We're looking at +3. Knight a6 you have to play to keep my bishop out of this square. And I just play something simple like knight f3, and we're cooking. We got ideas like rook e1 and like sacrifices just pouring down here. Good luck ever getting anywhere with your king. Even if you can cross the d line at some point, yeah, I can always take on a6. I also have this, so your bishop's going to have to move from d7 anyway. Queen takes f5. Your king's never getting out of the middle. I will play f4, like for example, I'll just put some moves on the board here. Okay, already knight takes e5 is working, and rook takes d7 is working. That's crazy. Okay, but anyway, in the game, knight c6, and we got him! Bishop c5! Engine's wreck is queen e6 for the record, but yes, the pawn on g7 is actually much more useful. You have g6 that you can play here, but having to go pawn takes f6 sucked, right? To be clear, you couldn't go queen takes f6 because bishop g5 wins on the spot with rook d8 to follow. So they had to go pawn takes f6, and now after bishop c5, they're just toasted. So they throw something at me here with bishop h6, but my queen is not going to leave it the comfortable contact of f7. Just slide out the way, king b1. They throw bishop to g4 at me, queen takes g4. And I don't know if it was clear, but my next move, if they played king to f8, was going to be queen takes here. Otherwise, the queen is trapped in this position, actually has nowhere to go at all. A Title Tuesday classic. A Title Tuesday classic. A Title Tuesday classic. Didn't let me put mate on the board, but that's okay. So, e5. What's going on here? e5 is actually a move I would recommend for black. Okay, make sure I'm not missing the next round. Title Tuesday. Yeah, we're good. Okay, e5 is a move I would recommend here for black. So basically, they actually played a Scandi, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe they were going for some gambits in the Scandi. I said, no, I'm playing a Von Papille. And Von Papille gambit, super fun gambit on my channel. You can get that all the time, typically out of d4, and then after d5 to play e4. Or, you know, you can get it out of this move order here, knight c3, and this can happen as well. That's what we were looking at transposing to. There's a lot of various ways to transpose here. After knight c3, if they play knight f6, we have the very fun line with bishop to g5, and often we get this nice stuff with queen takes f3 attacking all here, and castles, and d5, and all that good stuff. In the game, they played the Lemberger counter gambit with this move e5, which is a very good move. It's a very good move. They're playing it now before knight f6. Why? Because d takes e5 doesn't have a tempo on this knight. It doesn't have a tempo on this knight. And so here black's actually doing excellently, because both recaptures here suck. You don't want to move your king, and then they'll castle long with check at some moment. You don't want to move your knight, because then you lose contact here. And then you're actually like a move behind. They're literally white here. They're literally white, because the position's symmetrical and it's their turn. So they can try to defend a pawn, and then maybe try to take yours, or something like that. So you don't want that. And then otherwise, so yeah, I mean, this is fine. Like, you could try to defend this pawn and play some sort of gambit. But the best move is, so this is, we gambited, they counter gambited. But we counter their gambit with this move, queen h5, which is this awesome line. Check out the Sneider Attack video for the full repertoire here. But yeah, I mean, we're already threatening, right, as you see here, the queen's threatening queen takes e5 and queen takes f7. So we touched on queen takes d4 a little bit. I mean, there's some other options here. But e takes d4 is like the main one, right? It looks like, oh, there's now two pawns up here. They took that one, they took that one. But we play your bishop c4, which is just crazy stuff. Attacking f7, they've got no pieces developed. They just moved these pawns a bunch of times. And now we're attacking f7, you can't play g6 because your rook will hang, and worse. And so what you got to do is you got to find the right queen move. Which queen move is okay? Which lose? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. But then it's knight moves, and we have like so much cool stuff. And even against the top engine recommendation, I remember going over in that video, we play like knight to f3, leaving both the knights hanging because like the rooks come out. It's just such awesome stuff. We're super aggressive chess against their king on all the pieces on the back rank. Okay, subscribe for the videos on YouTube. Next game.
William Grave, the Gambit man, takes his seat at the board. e4, e5, knight f3, bishop c5. The Bushgas Gambit on the board. On with the Gambit classes. Hero pod unlocked!